Bama and the Bows back here with some UFC 250 betting picks. Bows fresh off a 9-2 fight card, while going 4-1 with his track plays. Bows, let's get into it. What's your first pick of the night?
Mark, what's going on? Bama, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Our first fight of the night, we got Gerald Meerschaert taking on Ian Heinisch. First off, we're going to start talking about GM3 a little bit, man. You know, GM3 is a crafty vet. GM3 is a crafty vet. That's what he is. 30-12 overall record. He has a ton of experience. Now, here's the thing about this 30-12 record. 30 wins, 28 finishes, 22 via submission, 6 TKOs, KOs. That's a 93% finish rate. That is extremely high. This guy finds a way to, finish fights. He's 6'1", coming in at a 77.5-inch reach. Again, a couple of the guy's strengths, he's a great grappler. Of course, you see the submission artist. But really, in these fights anymore, I'm thinking his experience has given him the most edge in these fights against these younger fighters he's been going against. He's fighting out of Rufus Sport. Head coach Duke Rufus, great team over there. A couple things I'm kind of worried about him. Very basic striking. I see that he was pretty hittable. I mean, look what Eric Anders. I don't consider Eric Anders to be a very high-level striker, and Eric Anders was definitely finding a home on some of those shots. He was hit very early on Anders, as I was saying. But I will say, I'll be honest, as the fight went on, his head movement got a lot better. He avoided a lot more strikes. Didn't seem to take as much damage as he took early on in the fight, so that was definitely good on his part. And, sometimes I can see GM3 just kind of standing in front of guys, just kind of throwing 1-2, blah, 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 and just kind of not being as active as I'd maybe like him to be. I don't see much urgency sometimes. On the other side, we got Ian Heinisch coming in at 13-3, 5'11", 72-inch reach. I really like this guy. This guy's a big ball of energy. Couple of this guy's Ian strengths, man. Freaking will. If you see this guy fight, you need to put this guy away. If you want to beat this guy, you want to really try to put him away because he's just going to keep coming after you. I mean, he's got tremendous balance and such strong hips. In his fight against Derek Brunson, I mean, first round, Derek Brunson gets a whole body lock on him from behind, and any man in the world is going on a ride with that setup. And he was able to keep his balance, and even when he was taken down by Brunson in that fight, he showed great scrambling skills, ability to kind of get up top and get up off the ground, and that's a really good thing to see against a guy like Gerald Meerschaert, who personally I don't think he's even going to be able to get Ian to the ground. So that's something to look out for. But if he does, I can see him getting up. Another thing I like about Ian is, man, he's so tough and durable, and he's really willing to get hit to give one. He's got such a great chin. He's durable. He got hit by a ton of big shots by Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson's got a freaking hammer attached to his arm. 11 knockouts on his record. Like I said, though, the scrambling and his ability to get back up, he wants to win fights. Like, that's awesome. Like, I love seeing that out of a fighter. Another thing I really love about Ian Heinisch, Bama, the guy changed his fight camp. Okay, he was training out of Colorado before. In January, I believe it was, he heads over to Thailand, starts training Tiger Muay Thai with George Hickman, all those guys. And for a guy like Ian Heinisch, I don't think there could have been a better move. I think that was the absolutely perfect move. If this guy gets even crisper striking, he's got power. Ian Heinisch has power. If he gets crisper, more technical striking, attack the body, attack the legs, he's got good leg kicks, I really can see him absolutely dominating this fight from a standpoint of if GM3 is going to stand in front of him, what's going to happen there? What's GM3 going to do? Will GM3 try to get him down? Is he going to try to wear him out? We did see Ian Heinisch in his fight with Derek Brunson, but first round he comes out, he almost TKO'd Brunson in the first 30 seconds, hits him with that left high kick in the head, hit him with the toe, and dropped him. Might have been an adrenaline dump, who knows. Second round, he comes out, looks totally flat. third round he did look better. Now I will say in his fight with Omari Akhmedov, his last fight, which was in December, cardio, he looked much better through all 3 rounds. And you know what? He lost both those fights. And it's not like I don't think he clearly lost them. Like, I don't have here's what I'm going to say. I don't have a problem with the decision losses, but I thought they were actually very close fights that could have went his way. They were very close to going his way. I mean, this guy's close to being 15-1, with his only loss being to who was it, Marcus Perez and LFA. I mean, the guy's very, very, very good.
Okay, based off that, and let's look at some fight odds.
Yeah, so the fight odds here, we got GM3 coming in at even money, which he seems to always be on the dog side of the money, which, hell, that's worked out for him lately. And Ian Heinisch coming in as the small 125 favorite.
Mm-hmm. All right, based off those odds, let's get a prediction.
Yeah, so like I alluded to earlier, how I personally see this fight playing out is I don't see GM3 landing takedowns or getting the fight to the mat. And if this is a striking battle and GM3 is going to stand up there and stand in front of Ian Heinisch, I'm going to go ahead and take the Tiger Muay Thai. I'm going to say, hey, I want to see how this guy's how his Muay Thai striking looks, man. He wants to turn this into a striking match. Let's see what you just learned for the last 5 months in Thailand. Let's see what George Hickman and all those guys have been training you, because I have a feeling that it's going to be very, very good. The pick is Ian Heinisch minus 125.
Okay. Second fight.
All right, man. The second fight we're going to be going over is Alex Caceres going up against Chase Hooper. This is kind of a goofy fight. It really made no sense to me. Me personally, I've never been on the Bruce Leroy Alex Caceres bandwagon. He's a great fighter, cool guy. Used to fight in the streets. 5'10", 73.5-inch reach. Just transitioned last year to Freedom Fighters MMA, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not very familiar with them. The strengths, one of his big strengths is, he's got a ton of experience. He's 33 years old, but yet he's been in the UFC for 9 years. So he's not old. Could be in his athletic prime, 9-year vet. I personally I can only see that as his only strength, really, in this fight. Besides, I believe he would have the striking edge, of course, on Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper, on the other end, man, what do you want me to say about him? Who doesn't love this freaking kid right now, right? Who doesn't love Eminem Chase Hooper? I say Eminem, the kid loves freaking M&M's for any of you who follow him on any kind of social media. So he's going to be big. He's 6'1". He's huge for the weight class. Here's my thing. I think he's going to look like a mountain of a man next to Caceres, and that's because this kid's shoulders are freakish. He's got huge, broad shoulders, and I think that might be a little concerning for Caceres, because I would have to say if you're going to talk about Caceres' weaknesses, what are you going to talk about? You got to get submitted. Man, he gets submitted. He has 7 losses via submission. Is that going to change? Now, his last submission loss was to Kron Gracie. I'm throwing that one out. That don't count. I mean, it's freaking Kron Gracie. Come on. Mm-hmm. He took his back. What are you going to do? However, with the fight odds, Mike, Bam, you want to get into the fight odds right now?
Yeah, let's go ahead, man.
Let's go with the fight odds. Earlier in the week, so I placed a bet on Hooper earlier in the week. I might as well just go ahead and give that pick out right now. It was going to come at the end of the recap anyways, but I'll be honest with you guys, since the line's moving so much, I actually picked Chase Hooper on Sunday. I got him at minus 145 odds. I thought that was a steal. Apparently some other people did too. He is currently sitting at minus 180 odds. I still don't think that's good enough. I see him taking it down. I see him. He's not a great wrestler. That's the thing. I don't consider Chase Hooper a great wrestler. He can get to the fight to the ground, though, overwhelm you, suffocate you. man, he's punishing on top, isn't he? What did you see what he did to Daniel Tamer? That was impressive. Daniel Tamer's, kickboxing stud, man. And he was really to come in and definitely use his size advantage because Tamer came in. I believe he was 5'5". Hooper looked much bigger, and I think it'll be the same thing here, even with Caceres being 5 inches taller than Tamer was. I see this fight playing out very simple. And it's mainly because from what I've seen from Chase Hooper so far is the kid seems to be smart, and I really like that. And what I mean by that is the kid knows he's not a freaking Muay Thai world champion striker, okay? He's not going to go out there and try to prove his will and bang, go blow for blow with you. No, you know what he's going to do? He's going to run. He's going to get in there. He's going to take a shot, and he can take a hit. He took heavy hits against Tamer. Kid Dynamite, Daniel Tamer. And he landed takedowns. Like, that's what I love about this kid. I think he knows his path to victory is to get the fight to the ground, submit this guy, and get out of there and go buy his big pack of M&Ms. So the pick is Chase Hooper, minus 145. But remember, guys, I got those odds last Sunday on the 31st, May 31st. Today is June 3rd, so he is sitting at minus 180 now. Get on him as soon as you can.
Okay, next fight.
All right, Bam. The next fight we got going up. This is gonna be this could be an interesting fight. We got Anthony Rocco Martin facing off against Neil Magny. Rocco Martin's coming in, man. Ugh. Rocco Martin, I think, is actually a pretty underrated fighter. He's a guy who I feel he's one of those guys that I feel is pretty good everywhere. He might not be incredible in one certain aspect, although if you were to say one, you would definitely say jiu-jitsu. The guy has a great jiu-jitsu game. 17 wins, 9 of those via submission. Over half his wins are by submission. I mean, he's a bit of a monster in that aspect. Had some pretty close fights. Definitely a close fight with Damian Maia. That was a majority decision. Had a close fight. He won a unanimous decision against Ramazan Ameev, but after rewatching that fight a couple times, I don't know, man. I don't know how that was unanimous. I think they could have went the other way. But he's got some good wins. Good fighter. Like, he's a good fighter. He's fighting with Team Sityodong, with the Get Some fight team. Definitely got to say his strengths. He's a wrestler. Good wrestler. He's got fantastic jiu-jitsu. He loves those Kimuras. He loves Kimuras. So that's definitely one thing to look out for the long limbs of Neil Magny. And you know what else about Rocco Martin is the guy has got really good, powerful leg kicks. That can be an issue. Ask Vince Morales. Because remember, boys and girls, we were on Chris Gutierrez last week where we saw him finish Vince Morales with those nasty leg strikes. And you're really hoping that if you're definitely a guy that's wanting to back Rocco Martin, you're saying, hey, come in, chew up that lead leg of Neil Magny, and let's go, man. Let's go. Let's get the fight rocking. Some of his weaknesses, though, is I see which a lot of this was Ramazan to Ameev, not just the Maia fight, which Damian Maia I understand, but a lot of times he would just stand there in front of his opponent with his hands lower than I'd like them to be. And I think that could be, and the reason I say that's a weakness is because the guy's got a 73.5-inch reach, and you'll see why that's a weakness here in a little bit. 73.5-inch reach for Rocco Martin. Remember that, boys and girls. Next up on the other side, we got Neil Magny coming in, 6'3", 80-inch reach, 8-0. That's what I was alluding to right there with Rocco with his hands low. 6.5-inch reach advantage for Neil Magny. He's going to be poking them jabs on him if he keeps his hands low. Of course, Neil Magny's still fighting with the Elevation Fight Team in Colorado. Now, from a betting perspective, for you guys who are wanting to be on Neil Magny, you love that because the guy's got cardio for days. He's not going to gas out. He's durable. He's not going to gas out. He's not going to gas out. He is a machine. And if he gasses out Saturday, then the MMA gods are just really funny. That just wouldn't be right. So anyways, with Neil's strengths, again, 6.5 inch reach. That's pretty substantial. And he pops his jab very well. Who watched that Li Jingliang fight? I could not have been more wrong about that fight. Of course, that fight happened before we started this channel, so you guys don't have that information. However, I did pick Li Jingliang to win that fight via TKO because Neil Magny was coming off a 2-year layoff, because Neil Magny in his last fight had got absolutely brutalized by Santiago Ponzinibbio. I thought he was done for. And then the guy comes back and faces Li Jingliang, who was on a freaking tear. Okay, he was on a freaking tear, and dismantles him. He lands 123 significant strikes to Li's. I think he landed 16 or something like that, 16 or 23, something like that. Neil has great pressure, good footwork. He's so long and big that could be troublesome for some guys. But we have seen Neil, of course. Where's his weaknesses? He has been taken down, and he has been submitted. Now, again, this isn't exactly fair, but they do have a common opponent in Damian Maia, and Rocco might have lost a very close decision, but Neil was taken down and submitted very, very easily. And I just don't. For the odds, I was a bit surprised. You're seeing Rocco Martin at plus 120, dog. Neil Magny coming in as the minus 150 favorite, and I haven't seen that line move at all this week. And I think it's going to make for an interesting fight. I think those are actually pretty decent odds, especially with what you know about Rocco Martin's ability to, if he gets the fight to the ground, can very easily be finished, Mark.
All right, based off that, what's your prediction?
All right, Bama. Well, prediction time. Like I said, pretty good matchup. But honestly, I can see Magny putting on another clinic. I really think it's going to be another volume striking clinic. I think Magny's going to actually pull off a unanimous decision. I don't think he's going to stop Rocco. Rocco's a very tough, very, very tough fighter in his own right. I don't see him being able to stop him, but what I do see is I see Magny jab, 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 jab. He's going to, after a few jabs, going to come over with the right hand, and I think that's going to be troublesome. But also, I think his length is just going to be the problem for Rocco. He's not going to be able to get in on him. I think it's going to be an awkward fight. Will he be able to reach him with the leg kicks? I don't think so. So again, the pick is Neil Magny, minus 150.
All right, move on to the fourth fight and final fight of your predictions. What is it?
Yeah. Last fight is honestly, Bama. Is what I'm saying is the fight of the night. And what I would say is everybody's fight of the night. Personally, I think this fight has been disrespected, as it's not even the co-main event. So just that right there, everybody knows where I'm going with this. Of course, this fight I'm talking about, Aljamain Sterling going up against Corey Sandhagen. This is going to be just, man. If I don't think I can portray to you guys the amount of time that I have spent going back and forth on this fight. It's incredible, man. It's an incredible fight. Stylistically, it's one of those styles make fights, right? We got the guy who's going to want to look to grapple and get the fight to the ground, and the guy who's going to want to bounce around, move around, pick you apart, and volume strike you to death. So we got Aljamain Sterling coming in, man. And right now he's coming in. I see him and I use DraftKings, by the way, everybody, so you know where I'm getting my odds from. I used DraftKings, so I got him at minus 118 right now. And I think that's really good odds for the Funkmaster here, man. He suffered a setback a few years ago with Marlon Moraes. What a knockout that was. Guy shoots in, Marlon fires that knee, and stiff like a board. But ever since then, the guy's been on a tear. All right, he's really funky, which is okay. I guess I couldn't have picked a better adjective to describe him, seeing how he is the Funk Master. Anyhow,
Mm-hmm.
does boast a 71-inch reach while being 5'7", black belt in jiu-jitsu under Matt Serra, D3 wrestler, solid grappler. He's got good striking. His striking is not bad. He's got decent enough striking, and striking to where I feel it allows him to close distance on people, grab them ankles and whatnot, get them to the ground, and he's just a solid guy all around. He's only getting better. Like, I think he really styled on Pedro Munoz. I thought he looked great against Jimmy Rivera. Another guy who's fighting Saturday, Cody Stamen, who my thoughts and prayers and condolences go out to him and his family. As today he learned, he posted on social media that his brother had passed away. He was fighting in his memory Saturday. So thoughts and prayers are with Cody Stamen and his family. But back to Aljamain Sterling, he did fight Cody Stamen at 228, and man, he put him in a Swallow stretch, and that was any of you guys want to see one of the coolest submissions you can see, go look up Aljo's submission on Stamen. It was pretty spectacular. It was pretty neat to see. The guy keeps improving, and he's a cardio beast, man. The guy's going to go for days. Love his fight team, Sarah Longo fight team. I love those guys. Love his teammates. Love the guys he has around him. I think that's a really good team. And on the other side though, man, we have Corey Sandhagen. What an absolute monster Corey Sandhagen is at 135. The guy's 5'11", which is basically making him the Yao Ming of the division. All right, he's huge. Now, here's the one thing that you notice about Corey Sandhagen is he does not have an advantage that he usually has in his fights in this fight, and that's his reach. He has a 71-inch reach as well. So they're even right here. He is the taller fighter by 4 inches, but reach-wise, there shouldn't be much discrepancy there. Of course, he is also training out of the Elevation Fight Team. So, again, what am I saying about the Elevation Fight Team? Freaking cardio monsters. Cardio monsters. Corey Sandhagen's not going to tire out, okay? He's not going to tire out. The guy throws upwards almost 9 significant strikes per minute or something stupid. It's one of the highest in the UFC. He has a ridiculous output. He's beat some top guys. Beat John Lineker. Close fight. Beat him. Rafael Assunção. Assunção, solid fighter. Beat him. He has a lot of good wins. Yuri Alcantara. I mean, he's a solid fighter, and I personally think he's Dominic Cruz. I think he fights like Dominic Cruz. That's who I see when I fight him. Mm-hmm. Or when I watch him. And I love watching the guy fight. It's almost mesmerizing watching him move in there. I absolutely love it.
All right, based off that, let's look at some fight odds.
Yeah, again, let's look at those fight odds again. Again, we got Aljo. I got Aljo Sunday. I bet him Sunday with all my other fighters. I bet him Sunday at -118. That line has actually moved slightly. I mean, ever so slightly to 117 now. So not much of a difference there. Corey Sandhagen, like I said, coming in at -106. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a plus next to his name, but
right.
Whatever.
Based off that, though, what's your prediction?
Yeah, prediction. I think it's going to be a great fight. Now, here, I'm going to go with Aljamain Sterling. Here's why. It's a 3-round fight. If this was a 5-round fight, I would say, you know what? I think Corey Sandhagen could get into his rhythm. Maybe because Funkmaster is going to be hard to figure out, I believe, to get into a rhythm. So maybe he won't get in that rhythm in the first round, okay? So I think it might take a while for Corey to get his rhythm, and then once he does, he could probably find a lot of success if he's able to avoid the takedowns, and if he is taken down, get back up. So yeah, if this was a 5-round fight, I think my money would be on Corey Sandhagen. But this is a 3-round fight. Aljamain Sterling's the grappler. Corey's going to have to figure him out a little bit. That could take a little bit. So with all those intangibles right there with you're giving me, and I know it's 3 rounds, I can easily see Aljo stealing, winning 2 of those rounds before Corey maybe gets going. So, yeah, that's my pick, man. I got Aljamain Sterling winning this via unanimous decision, 29-28. Aljo is the pick.
Okay. Quick recap. Bowse, what was all your
Yeah,
picks again?
yeah. Again, guys, for my personal track plays here, we are going with Ian Heinisch minus 125. We are going with Chase Hooper minus 145. Neil Magny minus 150. And last but not least, we are finishing off with Aljamain Sterling minus 118. Usually, I mean, it's almost a bad omen to bet all favorites like that, but man, I just think a lot of these odds could be a lot higher than what they are. So I think we're getting a good price on all of them.